little bit about your work?
Well, this particular series of works are dealing with bad language and how polite society still uses bad language, but is able to mask it and be able to say the words without actually saying them in diverse groups and listeners. So it's dealing with a lot of feminist issues, racism, patriarchal structures, but just basically how we communicate with people without actually using words. I do a lot of video work, and so I look at how bodies are used or placed within a particular construct, and how the surroundings change and affect how that body infiltrates and kind of penetrates and presents itself within a particular space, so that when there's another viewer of that body, there's certain judgments that go on, which is similar with language, that there's certain words that we're not supposed to say, but we're still able to create situations that allow for that word to be heard, but not necessarily said. A lot of times it's more of just reaction to society and what's going on and what I'm going through particular times, and how I'm behaving. A lot of reading other people is more something that happens every day, and how do I move through a space and understand it, and how do I react to certain people in certain situations, and how do I come up with certain conclusions. And so it's more of just taking from life and then started applying it. And so then it became an issue of language and who gets to use language and when we use language, which also came out of another piece, which is entitled White Woman, is basically who's able to speak and who's not able to speak. And so language was like the next progression to it. So.
Because it's so shocking, just to go through, look at the list and then kind of realize what the works are. It's just kind of like an abrasive, kind of shocking thing to realize what it is, because it looks really innocuous with being white. You're just like, oh, this is going to be something about form or shape or something, but it ends up being a lot more controversial than that. So.
Look at the ironic in life and kind of the funny things that happen within society, within everyday, because I think if you don't have a sense of humor and are enjoying life when you're going through it, that when you start dealing with topics that are much more difficult, they then become much more of a burden and not as fun to deal with, but you can always see humor in everything that's happening. So I'm glad that that you recognize the humor in them.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.